may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, we are so close to 10,000 subscribers. Y'all know just about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were only at 2,000, and we have just constantly been going out there, grinding out video over video, streaming every single night, working our way to 10,000. Guys, please, if y'all have not already subscribed to the channel and y'all like our videos, please make sure you go down there, subscribe, help us get to that 10,000 mark, and that's going to be absolutely massive. And if you don't know what's the big deal about hitting 10,000, it is solely so I can go around and tell people that I know in real life that I have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very, very simple, guys. Go get me some street cred. All I'm asking. But now, you guys, thank y'all so much for going out there, also liking the videos, leaving comments. Y'all are absolutely the best fantasy football audience on YouTube, and that is why we are skyrocketing up the chart boards. And because of that, I'm going to continue to go out there and try to make videos based on your questions, and I'm going to go out there and stream every single night. So depending on when you're watching this, I could be streaming right now. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights, and Sunday mornings. Lastly, all of these questions I got were from Instagram. I just put on a story. I just put my story saying, send me your trade questions and I will answer them on the next video. And then I got a ton of trade questions. I'm very sorry if I did not get to yours, but we are going to dive into the ones that I was able to go out there and kind of determine that they were going to be closer and more interesting to talk about. And guys, I'm very sorry if I'm not able to get back to you on Instagram. I literally probably got 100 questions, so I just went out there and I think I picked about 5 of them. But regardless, let me get into these. And first, let's start it with someone who is a non-stop supporter in the fantasy football YouTube. So, I mean, he's part of Notification Gang. He has those notifications on, always going out there, leaving one of the first comments. And this is Ian. Ian, thank you so much, man, for being a consistent contributor of the show. And your question is, should I trade David Johnson and CeeDee Lamb for Kenny Golladay? He gave us a little bit of context with this question, telling us that he does have Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Kareem Hunt. So I was going to say right away that no, unless we knew that you had running backs loaded up, I was going to hold on to David Johnson and CeeDee Lamb based on the volume that we can expect David Johnson to see over the next month or so, and understanding that his schedule is about to get a lot easier compared to what he saw through the first 3 weeks. But knowing that you also have Miles Sanders, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and Kareem Hunt, I think when Duke Johnson comes back to this Houston Texans team, we are going to see him maybe just take 10 to 15% of the touches away from David Johnson. And while we may see David Johnson's efficiency increase based on the overall matchups just being easier for him, I think that maybe we see his fantasy production stay the same, because I don't necessarily believe that he's going to continue to get every single touch out of this backfield. I mean, when Duke Johnson has been out of this lineup, pretty much they are just giving the ball to David Johnson every single time. I think the backup running back behind Duke Johnson is CJ Prosise, and I believe he only has like 1 carry so far this season. So, I mean, David Johnson has been fueled by a ton of volume so far in 2020. And yes, it's been very inefficient volume because he's had very tough matchups. And I understand that those matchups are about to get easier, but I think the volume may come down a little bit. And then getting a wide receiver like Kenny Golladay, I think that Kenny Golladay, y'all know I went out there and told y'all to desperately go out there and trade for him before week 3 kicked off. And I mean, yes, I was honestly really worried after going out there and making a couple just horrendous calls on Sunday and then going and seeing Kenny Golladay start a little slow. I was like, oh my God, if Kenny Golladay has a bad game, I just don't know what I'm going to be able to do. But Kenny Golladay he just went out there, and while he was still limited with his hamstring injury, he proved that at the very least, he is going to be a wide receiver 2 any given week, and he has that upside of being a top 5 wide receiver. And then I know on the flip side, let's go back and let's talk about CeeDee Lamb for a little bit. Another one of these guys I've been trying to get y'all to trade for every single week since the season kicked off. And I mean, CeeDee Lamb looks absolutely legit, but we have to understand that while CeeDee Lamb looks to be one of the best upcoming wide receivers in the NFL, he is not in the same tier of a guy like Kenny Golladay, because Kenny Golladay is going out there being the alpha target on his own team. And we know that CeeDee Lamb currently, and should be for the entire 2020 season, is going to be behind Amari Cooper on the amount of targets that they are seeing. And Marvin Jones should be able to go out there and see some targets himself. So now let's get to our next question. This is going to come from Flavius. Man, thank you so much. I know that you are also one of these guys who goes out there and supports all the videos, leaves comments, and goes out there and supports in the live stream. Man, I truly, truly appreciate it. And your question is about two wide receivers that we've talked about a ton so far in 2020. One in Adam Thielen and one in Hollywood Brown. So first, you're asking, should you trade Adam Thielen for Hollywood Brown? And the short answer, I believe, yes, you should. And I know that it's going to sound absolutely insane based on what we've seen from these wide receivers through 3 weeks. But I think if we look at the overall situation, first, let me break it down with Adam Thielen. And I am sure y'all are so tired of hearing me talk about it. I've probably said these exact words 100 times this week. Y'all know every time I get asked a question on the stream, I talk about Adam Thielen. I talk about it in this context. I think that there are two main things that can happen to see Adam Thielen's fantasy football value just completely fall to where you cannot even start him. One, I think that we could see this Minnesota Vikings team go back and really slow down the pace of play, very similar to what we saw the first 2 weeks from this offense. And two, I think we could see Justin Jefferson go out there and kind of cement himself as Kirk Cousins' #1 target. And we understand that if you're the #2 target on an offense that's not necessarily going to have a ton of volume and they want to run the ball, I mean, you are going to be a very iffy spot starter any given week. So there are two main things that I think either one of them have a good chance of happening that could just completely tank Adam Thielen's fantasy value. And on the flip side, we are looking at Hollywood Brown. While he was extremely disappointing in week 3, and I'm going to be the first one to admit it, y'all probably are also tired of me just talking about everything I got wrong last week, but y'all know I want to be as completely transparent and completely honest with y'all, and I think it's even more important because we are going out there and unlisting the videos after a week on. I don't want it to make it seem like we are forgetting our own mistakes. I got Hollywood Brown drastically wrong last week. I said at the very minimum he was going to be a wide receiver 2, and at the maximum he was going to be a wide receiver 1. And I mean, overall, we looked at the opportunity that he saw, and if he would have connected with Lamar Jackson on a couple of those deep shots, I think that we would have been right, and we would have seen Hollywood Brown go out there, and we would have seen him put up a week 2 performance. But I mean, it would have, could have, should have, it does not matter. At this point though, I think if we are looking at Hollywood Brown, he is still the #1 elite alpha target in this Baltimore Ravens offense. I don't think that we're going to see Miles Boykin, Devin Duvernay, or any of these other wide receivers really cement that position from him. And I think this is an offense that we can expect to go out there and positively regress going forward in 2020. I think that if you were going to go out there and just bet on the general, just take the names away from it. Would you rather have the Ravens wide receiver 1 or the Vikings wide receiver 1? I think that you would much rather have the Ravens situation. And my argument is I think the talent level between Hollywood Brown and Adam Thielen is not drastic at all. So I think maybe you could go out there and you could get more for Adam Thielen. But at the end of the day, if you were not able to get anything, just any extra juice thrown on top, I would go out there and trade for Hollywood Brown. Okay. Victor, just nonstop contributing to every stream, nonstop going out there and just interacting a ton in the fantasy football group chat. Victor, I answered one of your questions on the last videos. Man, I truly appreciate your support of the show. Let me get to this one question where you DM'd me through Discord. And honestly, man, I'm looking at this situation and I know I already answered you, but I want to kind of dive into it a little bit deeper because if y'all, let me let y'all in on the loop with Victor's overall team. If y'all have not been participating in the live streams, I'm sure most of y'all don't know about it. But nonetheless, Victor has just been completely decimated by injuries so far in 2020, and he is currently sitting 0-3, so we know that he has to go out there and prioritize getting a win in week 4. And currently, he is sitting with Michael Thomas, who was just ruled out for week 4, and he's kind of scared that he's not going to come back to week 7. Personally, I think we could see Michael Thomas in week 5, but anyway, he was offered Darrell Henderson and Adam Thielen for Michael Thomas. I'm not going to focus a ton on Adam Thielen in this question just because I dove into him too much in the last one. So let's focus on Darrell Henderson and why I think that if anything, he is a decent sell high at the moment. And this is a player that I've gone out there and I acquired on a ton of fantasy football rosters. I mean, I'm having a great time going out there and starting Darrell Henderson in week 4. But at the end of the day, I am still a believer that once Cam Akers comes back, after seeing Darrell Henderson really flash this ability, I'm not going to go out there and say Cam Akers is going to be the automatic starter, but Cam Akers will have a massive role on this offense. Y'all kind of understand. I mean, at least I hope y'all have heard me say it before, but in week 2, before Cam Akers left with his injury, he saw the first 3 carries for the Rams in that game. I mean, it kind of looked like this team was transitioning over to have their former second round, I mean, their 2020 second round pick, their first pick in the NFL draft, be their starting running back. And I mean, he just got hurt. And now we've seen Darrell Henderson step up and really provide some value. Darrell Henderson, a second-year player out of Memphis who was selected in the 3rd round. I think that he is still a very talented running back. And it is a good situation where you can go out there and you can confidently play him in week 4, knowing that Cam Akers has been ruled out this game. But I think once Cam Akers comes back, we are going to see a ton of touches just go over and transition from Darrell Henderson to Cam Akers. And I don't think you're going to be either as excited to start either one of those running backs anytime soon. So man, personally, I am looking at Darrell Henderson as just a week 4 starter. While he is going to be a fantastic week 4 starter, I don't think that we are going to be labeling him as an auto start running back every given week after this, and giving up Michael Thomas for just those 2 guys, a wide receiver that I believe is going to be a low-end wide receiver 2 the rest of the way, and a running back that I think that is only going to be able to have starter appeal in week 4. That's just an overall trade that I would really, really think that is going to hurt your team. While it may help you in week 4, and week 4 is going to be extremely important. I mean, at the end of the day, if you end up winning week 4, go 1-3, and then you're just going to have a very, very underwhelming team the rest of the way. I mean, you're not going to make the fantasy playoffs that way anyway. So I think that if you are going to trade Michael Thomas, you've got to ask for more. Okay, Tay is coming in with our next question. Tay, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. I truly appreciate it. And your question is Nick Chubb for Myles Gaskin and Devin Singletary. And I'm assuming this question is following my sell high video on Nick Chubb. And I'm not going to spend too much time on this because I think it's a very simple answer. No, do not make this trade. I understand. I believe that Nick Chubb is a sell. If you look at the usage this running back has been seeing in his offense, he looks very similar to a Joe Mixon. But I think that similar to the trade question before with Michael Thomas, you're just not getting enough, man. Because with Myles Gaskin, a running back that's playing in a poor offense, that is seeing 0 goal line work, that's all going to Jordan Howard, I think that his upside is going to be a running back too. And with Devin Singletary, if Zach Moss comes back anytime soon, I think that he is going to continue to siphon away carries from Devin Singletary and drop Devin Singletary's both floor and ceiling. So man, yeah, in Nick Chubb, while I generally think that you should be going out there and trading that player away, I don't think that this is the package that you should be looking for. Okay, Joshua coming in with our next question. Joshua, thank you so much for supporting the channel, man. I truly appreciate it. And your question is Miles Sanders and David Montgomery for Devontae Adams and Viska Shenault. And you clarify that you need wide receivers on this team. You have a ton of running backs. And man, I'm going to say one thing real quick. I understand maybe you do need wide receivers, but you are just overpaying in this trade. I'm looking at Miles Sanders and Devontae Adams, and while with the current situation in Philadelphia, I think I am a lot lower on Miles Sanders than I was just a week prior, because we understand without having Jalen Reagor, Deshaun Jackson, Dallas Goedert, this team is going to have a very difficult time moving the ball down the field. But at the end of the day, we have to understand, based on the volume that Miles Sanders is going to see in this offense, it's going to put him in a classification of fantasy players at the moment that is going to be highly, highly in demand, just because we understand with all the injuries going around in the NFL, it is so hard to come by a running back. So I think you're going out there trading a premium piece for Devontae Adams, who Devontae Adams in his week-to-week fantasy output, y'all know before the season started, I said that I believe Devontae Adams can be the wide receiver 1 overall in 2020. I think that's kind of a fair swap based on positional scarcity. But then going from David Montgomery to Viska Shenault. Viska Shenault is not a guy that you should be considering starting anytime soon unless you are just in dire need of someone for your flex spot. I think that moving David Montgomery, who with Tariq Cohen leaving this offense, it looks like David Montgomery is going to be able to add a reception or two every single game that he would not have seen otherwise. I think that this is a player trending up, while Viska Shenault may be trending up later on in the season. DJ Chark is going to be reinserted back into this offense. And overall, man, this is just another one of these trades that you need to be asking for more. I think that you can wait a week, see David Montgomery go out there and get the significant amount of workload that we are projecting in week 4, and then go out there and try to get a better piece for him. But thanks, guys. Thank y'all all for going out there, submitting your questions. If you want your questions answered, make sure you're following me on Instagram. Make sure you slide up on my stories whenever I go out there and ask for questions for a video. And I am very, very sorry if I was not able to get to your question. I'm very sorry if I was not able to reply to your DM. I really hope y'all understand that just with the pure volume of questions that I am asked on any given day, it's just not logical for me to go out there and try to reply to everyone. I would just sit there on my phone all day, and y'all know I have better things to do, like make 4 videos a day for y'all and stream every single night. But yeah, thanks guys. I truly, truly appreciate the support, and have a great day.